Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here with my friend, Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David.
Pretty damn good game.
Hey,
That's what I'm saying.
2 home wins in a row.
One game below real 500. And
one game above fake 500.
And it was a weird win, Bruce, because it's the kind of game that the Oilers always lose. But this time, a lot went right for them. They got the power play goals. And let's just go right to my good thing. So this is the two good thing, two bad thing, and two numbers podcast. And my good thing, Bruce, was the Oilers finally caught a break. And they got actually more than one, but they caught a major break. Remember that string where there was, I don't know how many video reviews in a row that the Oilers lost, but they won.
Low four figures, wasn't it? Sure seemed like it.
It was 400 or 500. You're right. And what year was that?
Oh, it was over at least 2 years, and it was according to one person, they lost 14 video challenges in a row. I think somebody came up with some, depending on how you define whether it was a full-blown challenge or if it automatically went to review. Anyway, we were losing way more than we were winning in that, and there was a few real doubtful ones.
So this one, Jesse Puljujarvi had gotten it out of the zone, but it was about as out of the zone as McDavid's goal was in the net, which is it could have gone either way with the call.
Mm-hmm.
It was close enough that there was, if this had been in Los Angeles, for sure, LA would have got that call. We both know that. The whole world knows that. That's a fact.
I don't know. On the video review, it would seem pretty.
Did it?
Clear.
Yeah, it looked. I'm just so used to the Oilers losing them and so used to them getting screwed by the refs that I thought,
I called it live, and I wasn't sure if they were going to go to the video review because it's a double whammy now, right? On not goaltender interference, but an offside challenge. If you're wrong, you not only sacrifice your timeout, but you get a penalty. So now you're down 3-2, and you got to kill a 2-minute penalty and delay a game. So you got to be pretty sure, but they were sure and they were right. I mean, the puck really was outside the line.
What's your good thing?
Well, I think I'm going to have to mention, pardon me, Oscar Klefbom breaking out of his lengthy scoring drought and as impressive a manner as possible, scoring late game winners in consecutive games. The first in overtime and a 1-0 squeaker over Dallas the other night, and then tonight he broke up a game that had been tied 2-2 for it seemed like 3 periods. It really was only the last 2 periods that it was deadlocked like that, but his goal at 17:40 of the third period was the game decider. So that's a nice way to break out of his drought. In fact, Oscar had a goal and assist tonight on the both on the power play. Logged another 25 minutes of ice time. Another night at the office for Oscar, but he's really playing in all situations for the Oilers, and he has his moments. I mean, he had a terrible, right after his goal, a real terrible play where the puck got lobbed out into the defensive zone, and he couldn't have touched it better if he'd been trying to set up Toffoli to walk in alone. But he stopped it right there in Toffoli's path. But thankfully, the thing about a team game is sometimes when one guy makes a mistake, another guy can make up for it. And Koskinen stopped Toffoli cold. And
he stopped a few breakaways.
Held the lead to the end.
Yeah, there's a bit of chaos in Oscar Klefbom's game.
Yes.
It was funny because the shot that finally went in was a real kind of seeing eye shot. It was screened by a couple of LA Kings, not screened by any of the Oilers players. And it's one of, the proverbial, the goalie would like to have that one back kind of shots but it nonetheless went in. So he got it off fast and hard, low on the ice, and good for Oscar Klefbom. It's another unlikely thing. The Oilers scored on their first 2 scoring chances. So that's another thing that usually doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. It's the other team that usually scores on their first 1 or 2 scoring chances. And then the Oilers got the late kind of seeing eye goal. So like the script was completely rewritten for that game, where usually it's all these things that happen in favor of LA, and this time they got bit by them. So that's very sweet Very, very
Yeah.
sweet thing. So Bruce, I'll go with my bad thing now.
Okay.
And that was Koskinen on the stick side is exemplified by the 5-on-3 power play goal. Now that was a fairly difficult shot, it's a one-timer shot, cross seam pass, and he got it right on net. He got it fast on net, but Koskinen's positioning couldn't have been worse. Like
he wasn't really
he was
set.
way back in the crease on his knees. Like it just seemed like any shot on net was going to score because he was so badly out of position. He just seemed out of it on that one. So that was a bad. That was a bad moment. I think you saw some others too where he was weak stick side.
Well, yeah, he had trouble with his stick side the whole game. Like in the early part of the game, the puck came to his stick and he was making mistakes. Like he wasn't able to sort of contain the puck or chip it out. He was just sort of putting it out just beyond his own reach. And he got himself into trouble that way a couple times. A couple other times he had point shots come in that hit his stick and then bounced up and into his blocker, kind of inside. Could easily found a hole and gone in the net, but thankfully he got another piece of his gear on the shot after it kind of went through his stick. And then of course there was the both goals scored stick side from range. And then there was the ultimate stinker, was the one that got called back that went right through him. So he had a strange game because he made a number of great saves. I'm actually going to rate him positively for his overall performance, but it was like he was he was like all world on his glove side. And on the stick side, he was, both blocker and the goal stick paddle itself. He was having issues, and it was
it's a strange mixture of Grant Fuhrer and Warren Skorodensky. So Bruce, what are we at now? My bad thing?
No,
your bad thing. No, I wanted to say about Koskinen. Yeah, the Kings had 11 grade A chances. The Oilers had 9. And right. Koskinen, what was it, 2 or 3 breakaway saves, just, fantastic saves.
I'm remembering
and key moments.
Especially that Toffoli one at the end. And they both tried to go to his glove side, which was a mistake tonight. And he shut them both down.
Yeah, he gave him the old Grant Fuhrer.
Too early and then slam the door for the rest of the night. Give or take the one that didn't count because, of course, the play technically was dead and that never really happened.
Never happened.
He was a rock.
Well, he was really strong in the second period because the Kings dominated play that period, and he just totally kept the Oilers in the game. And, the Oilers got better goaltending, and they won. Surprise, surprise. Okay.
Funny how it works.
Yeah. Your bad thing, Bruce.
Well, I got to go with those 2 back-to-back penalties in the first period. I mean, LA took the first 2 penalties. And they only scored on one of the power plays, but their penalties were both desperation defensive plays to prevent scoring opportunities, the so-called proverbial good penalty. And then the Oilers went out and took back-to-back within 44 seconds, I think it was, penalties for roughing Drew Doughty about 180 feet away from Oilers' net. And you could argue this or that about Doughty and what he did on those plays and how maybe he could have got a penalty or how he drew the call or whatever. But the fact is both Kara and Cassian went high on Doughty, popped his lid off in one case, and the refs, you don't want to give them an opportunity, let's put it that way. And so they called both in a row. 5-on-3, that's death. And it only took them about 25, 30 seconds, was it, to pop her home after the Cassian penalty. Wasn't even that 21 seconds. They just zipped the puck around and got the cross seam, as you say, and bang. So that all of a sudden the 2-0 game was gone to 2-2, and you could see Hitchcock on the bench, and he was. I wound it back a couple of times because I found it a bit entertaining. He was looking at Glenn Gulitson and he was saying, effing stupid effing penalties, and 2 F-bombs in a 4-word sentence, right? He was not happy, and you could read his lips right to the plural of penalties. He was not too enthused, and he wasn't blaming the ref. He was calling them bad penalties. So anyway,
he's 67 years old or 66 years old. He's not he's going to say whatever he thinks. He doesn't care anymore.
Oh,
He's just going to say
yeah,
what he
no,
thinks.
you're going to talk about to the other coaches. The team needs to learn. I
Yeah.
want the coach to point out to him that those penalties are unnecessary and they hurt the cause. No matter how feel good moment it is that you give Drew Doughty a shot, do it legally. Anyway.
Okay, let's go with numbers, Bruce.
Mhm.
Excuse me, you might have a number, but I have numbers, and it's a comparison of two players on the power play. So we've had two players mainly as the net front guy on the power play. Milan Lucic to start the year, and he was there much of last year on the power play, and equally ineffective. And Alex Chason, who took over. McClellan actually put him there, so this wasn't a Hitchcock move. Took McClellan long enough, but
It's going
I
to be
guess
a
after
mismatch.
suffering through it all of last year, he finally did it. So here are the numbers. So Lucic has played 65 power play minutes, and almost all of that first unit. And he got, in those 65 minutes, he had 5 grade A shots, 1 goal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Chason 32 power play minutes, 9 grade A shots. So almost double the grade A shots in half the time, and 3 goals.
Triple
So
goals.
yeah, he's really found a home in front of that net, and
Ever.
he's got some skills there. It's interesting. Like, where did that come from? He's like Craig Simpson all of a sudden. Like, what's going on there? Like, where did he learn to do that? Because I don't think he's ever had that, or he's never been asked to do that, or he was never given the chance. But man, he is the right man in the right spot at the right time, and he's got the right set of hands.
Well, what I don't understand is how do you find a 28-year-old, 6'4", 208-pound winger with 400 games of NHL experience. He played his 400th game tonight. 28 years old, and I mentioned that, and he's playing for NHL minimum salary, and he's just popping in. I mean, he's third on the team now with 11 goals, and then to catch up to the top two guys, he just keeps pouring them in. Like
What's scoring? What's his shooting percentage? It must be getting close to 50%.
Well, he actually went
It's
down
not
tonight because
sustainable, Bruce. It's not sustainable.
well, he only shot 20% tonight, so it would have gone down. He had 5 shots on net, and one of them went in. The first line tonight, they had the top 3 shooters on the team were Chason with 5 shots, Draisaitl with 4, and McDavid with 4. 3 of them were all clear of everybody else on the team. And from there, you will go all the way down to the identity line, the group I jokingly called the flat line on Low Tide's radio show yesterday. And they had 1 shot among the 3 of them. So
I like the second line quite a bit. I thought they looked like they were actually. I'm still waiting for Nuge to pass it to Puljujärvi, but at least to connect on a pass. But they look good together. That they were all those 3 players. They can all skate, and when they're skating and working hard, they can create a little chaos out there. So, what's your number?
Well, my number is also a tip of the hat to Alex Chason on his occasion of his 400th game, and that number is 3%, and that is the percentage of the payroll of the first line that Chason commands. He's at 650,000 NHL minimum on a line that's getting paid 21,650,000, and literally it's 3.00%. And I think Draisaitl comes in at 39% and McDavid at 58% or something like that. And Chason is like house money. I mean, did the Oilers desperately need it? Because I mean, you've already overpaid your line, even if you get a third guy at NHL minimum. But the fact that guy at NHL minimum is contributing a lot more than 3% of the line's success makes him a huge, huge bargain.
I wonder if he can score 25 goals this year, Bruce. Wonder how much money he could get. Maybe less than he thinks. No one wanted to give Maroon very much money.
Maroon, yeah. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to say 25, but I'm certainly not going to rule out 20. Somebody the other day said he's got 10, he'd be lucky to get to 15. I'm thinking no, because he's actually garnered, a spot, a niche in the lineup where if he keeps playing on the power play, he's bound to pummel in the odd shot. And, he's obviously not going to score at this rate. I mean, he's got 11 goals in 20 games or something. He didn't even start the season. And he has played, this was his 19th game, and he's got 11 goals. So
makes you wonder how that power play might have clicked if they had a guy who could pop in rebounds like that last year. But anyway.
Or make deflections, or
make deflections,
or screen the goalie without moving out of his way before the shot comes through.
Yeah, you don't see Chason often. You don't see Chason often moving down to this beside the net. I hate that beside the net position for players, honestly. Like, it's kind of useless.
Well, unless they have a set passing play where they hit that guy and he hits a third guy coming in the other side. That can work. But usually that wants to be, you want that to be, you don't set up that way every time. At least I don't think so. I think you want the guy right in his ass, right in the goalie's face, and make his job as miserable as possible. Hope for some rebounds or pucks to hit him and go in. And if you got the rebound, some guy with hands that's not going to, it's actually going to finish the play once in a while. And that seems to be Alex Chason.
Yeah, NHL teams tend to leave that guy down beside the net wide open. And they do that for a reason, I think, because he hardly ever scores. He hardly ever makes a scoring play. It just isn't a good spot, it seems, to create something. So it's good that Chason isn't there. Sometimes he is, but he's usually right in front of the net. So good for him. Well, Bruce,
he also played 21 minutes and 25 seconds tonight, a season high by over 3.5 minutes.
What did Puljujarvi play?
Starting to lean on him. Puljujarvi 12:07.
That's good. 12:07.
Yeah, that's decent.
Pretty decent minutes. All right, Bruce, let's leave it there. You got to finish your writing, and I got to upload this sucker. So
I do. Well, 2 in a row. And Ken Hitchcock's first regulation win as Oilers coach, but officially now he's 3-1-1. And the team is, at least in the beginning stages of turning it around.
Has he been on the job? He said it was going to take 8 or 9 days. So has it been 8 or 9 days here?
Since last Monday? It's been 11 days.
11 days. There you go.
He still has plenty of work to do by my eye. This was not exactly a classic hockey game. But we'll take the 2 points, and we'll take the 0 points for the other guys since it's a Pacific rival and a detested one at that.
Yes, they hated LA Kings. Thanks for talking tonight, Bruce.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.